Hi friends, today I am going to add one more dimension to my channel Astrovidya. Though you are all aware that my channel deals with astrology as a main subject, but from today I will be adding some non-astrological subjects in which your reasoning faculty is developed, your wits are sharpened, because even for an astrologer, to have a great analytical ability is an asset. And hence, we are going to choose such subjects. Today's subject is reincarnation, fact or fiction. I'm deliberately using the word reincarnation and not the popular word rebirth, because to my mind, rebirth has a physical connotation. It implies the physical process of delivery more than anything else. And hence, let us start with the subject reincarnation, fact or fiction. The most sensible way, the most practical way, and perhaps the easiest way to start a subject is to define it. Let us define it. There is an entity within human body which survives beyond the death of a physical body, and it has a tendency and a capacity to reincarnate again and again in different forms. Let us analyze the various elements of the definition. There is an entity within human body which is essentially different beyond that physical shell. Let us take an example. A living person can see with his eyes, can hear with his ears, and the moment he dies, he can't see anything, he can't hear anything, though technically nothing has gone wrong with eyes or with the ears. Their structural system, their physical system, or their organic system is intact in every sense. So what is the difference? The difference is the observer behind the eyes and the listener behind the ears is no more. He has gone. The entity has gone away. And that is why the same organic structure cannot perform. Let us have one more example, because it is built in us. It is within us. We are subconsciously aware of the fact that such entity exists. And hence, whenever somebody dies, we make a statement, Mr. So-and-so passed away, and let us gather together to take him away for cremation. So there is a reference to two entities. The entity which passed away on its own without asking our permission, and the entity, the physical shell, the body, is required to be taken away for cremation. Here we are clearly referring to body and a separate entity. One more thing will clarify the point further. A human being is a living entity, but the organs which function when he is living, when he is surviving, cannot function independently if they are taken out and put on a table. For a living entity like human beings, the very important organs like heart, brain are important, no doubt. Without them, man cannot survive. But if they are taken, if they are cut away and put it on a table, if they are separated from the system, if they don't belong to the whole structure as such, independently, neither the heart nor the brain can function. So the organic structure, the anatomy was living, but in individual organ, there was no life force. That itself means that within organic structure, the life force is a separate entity which operates the structure, so long as it is in a structure. All these 3 points make the first part of the definition clear, that there has to be and there is an entity which is beyond human physical shell. Though it is within, it is without. It operates independently. It has its own modality. It has its own purpose. And hence, let us move to the next part of the definition. It survives beyond physical death. Why should it survive? Because death itself is a change of form. Because science says that nothing is destroyed and nothing can be created. So the only thing that can happen is a change of form, change of shape. The law of conservation of matter says that nothing can be destroyed. Hence, the physical body is destroyed because it is its form, its shape changes. But the entity within it doesn't have any shape as such. It has got only a tendency to form a shape. Let us take an example to understand how an entity which is non-physical forms a shape. A unit of air enters into a water and forms a bubble. So here you have a shape, here you have a form in the nature of bubble. It travels for a while, like human beings who carry on with their life. It travels for a while, then it breaks down. But the bubble has broken, the bubble has died, but the unit of air is absorbed in air and the unit of water is absorbed in water, and nothing has changed. The quantity has remained the same. So only the form has changed, only the structure has changed, but otherwise nothing has changed. The unit of air has a tendency to form bubbles. For example, let us take one more example from our daily life. If you have a glass of water and if you put it down, if it spills from your hand, what do you say? The glass has broken because the glass has a specific particular shape. It has broken, but you don't say that the water has broken. You can collect the same water, put it in some different shape of glass, and it will adopt, it will acquire that shape on its own. Because water has a tendency to adapt to the shape in which it is put. This entity which forms life, which forms the human body, has only a tendency, has got no shape, has got no color, has got no time limit. It is eternal, endless, shapeless. It has a tendency to form a shape. And that is why your cosmic force or your universal force, a pure force, which is called Atma or soul, is encircled by a human mind called Manomay Kosh. Manomay Kosh has got its own desires, its own targets, its own tendencies, and depending on the desires, it forms the body. It develops the body in a woman's womb, poetal development. It develops the body. That means the entity which is powerful, omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent, forms the human body. It is the other way around. Medical science tells you that mind is the function of brain. But in reality, it is the Manomay Kosh, it is the mind structure from a number of births together, from every previous birth. it gets developed, it accumulates the desires, and the incomplete part of desires, unfulfilled desires, act as a driving force to form a body which is suitable, which is helpful to achieve those targets. And having that tendency, having that only the tendency is not formed, the entity cannot die, it survives beyond the physical death. Then the third part appears. Even if it survives, even if that entity is available beyond death, why should it reincarnate? That means its tendency to reincarnate and its capacity to reincarnate. Let us talk about capacity. The entity has already incarnated into human body. That means the entity has proved its ability, its capacity to incarnate into human body. So there is absolutely no reason for which when it leaves the body, the tendency will not reincarnate. It has a capacity proved once, so why not again and again? That is one thing. And why should it have the tendency to reincarnate? That is because of the fact that the basic cosmic force called soul is without any desires. But because it is shackled by, because it is encompassed, it is encircled by a human mind, manomaya kosh, which has a desire. So the tendency to reincarnate, tendency to take birth again and again, is to fulfill the unfulfilled, incomplete desires of the previous birth. It is like completing the further education. Just because I have acquired some quality, just because I have acquired some desires, the entity will have to reincarnate till the time all the desires are fulfilled. And the time or at a particular birth, if every desire is fulfilled, or if the entity is devoid of any desire, then next time it won't reincarnate. That is called salvation, mukti. So the mind will attach you to the external world, will form the body. The mind and its ego, its own personal desire, will attach you to the external material factors to form a body. But as you keep on taking birth after birth, you learn spiritually that is not the purpose of a cosmic soul. That is not the purpose of a basic cosmic energy. This is the purpose of human mind. This is the purpose developed by your own ego. And as you forego the desires, as you get rid of more and more desires, a time comes, a step comes where in a particular birth, you are spiritually so developed, you are mentally so advanced that you forego all desires. You refrain from any fresh desires. And whatever was remaining that you have enjoyed, you have consumed, you have suffered. Because even for negative actions, you have to suffer for it. So having used them, having consumed them, or having suffered those things, you get rid of all desires. And at that stage, you get salvation. Though it is very easy to say, it is very difficult to get. And hence, it is only the human birth that gives you this facility to grow yourself mentally, to develop yourself spiritually, to develop your understanding about the existence of human being. What is the purpose of my birth? That is what you are supposed to understand. And having understood it, if you nullify, if you neutralize all the desires, you get a salvation. In this process, whatever we are saying at this moment sounds very theoretical. And hence, I have decided to talk on the same subject in 3 parts. This is only the first part of it. This is the first episode. On next part, I will be giving you the medical and the biochemical reasons to justify reincarnation and or to prove that reincarnation is a reality. Purely medical and biochemical reasons, biology reasons, which have already been proved by science, medical science. In the third part, I will be giving you some practical, concrete examples in which the persons have recollected, they have the memories of the previous birth and how it affected their present life, how they matured into developing a spiritual approach towards life. Such concrete examples, even of persons who are living as on today, they recollected their past births. Even from past, even from our scriptures, I will be giving you some examples to justify that there are entities who could recollect the past, who could recollect the previous birth, and that affected their present life. Such a wonderful journey from a pure theoretical arguments to medical scientific arguments and then to practical cases. This is going to be a very wonderful session, having an intellectual challenge which you will enjoy to accept, and be with me in the next two episodes. But till that time, have a great day. Namaskar.